What's going on, everyone? So Anthony Davis put the Lakers on blast and the front office. He did a whole interview with Shams, talked about how him and LeBron James want to win more championships, how him and LeBron James believe that they're a piece or two away from actually being a contender and winning a championship. If the Lakers play like they did against Boston every night, I agree, right? But the Lakers still need a trade. They still need moves. But the reason I say he called them out is he talked once again about needing a center and that he believes that this team really needs a center. Talked about how he was at his best at the 4, although the numbers suggest otherwise, but he's best at the 4. He's said on several occasions that he wants to play the 4. He has said, I'm not saying I won't ever play the 5. I mean, even in the 2020 year, which he even talked about and compared to, right? He still played the 5 and closed at the 5, particularly in the playoffs, right? So he's a guy that still is going to play some 5, but he preferably, if he could play more 4. My concern still ultimately lies on LeBron James, right? Is going and getting a center worth playing LeBron at the 3? I don't know. It depends on the center. But given that Anthony Davis said that publicly, and I'm sure he's related to the Lakers behind closed doors too, it makes you wonder if the Lakers are really now going to push for a center. I don't think that they were looking very hard for a center. Now, supposedly Walker Kessler, they were very active in Walker Kessler, but that makes sense, right? He's a piece for now and the future, right? He's a piece that you can slot in. Right now, he's dirt cheap as far as like contract-wise. Obviously, asset-wise, you have to give up a bunch, but contract-wise, dirt cheap. You can bring him in and still go make all the other moves that you want to make, right? So I do understand the Walker Kessler asset or acquisition because he's young. He's your guy for now and the next 10 plus years. Even in a post-LeBron era, you still have Walker Kessler and Anthony Davis as your center and power forward. My question is, do the Lakers now look to go get a Nikola Vucevic, right? Supposedly he can be ahead for 2 seconds. If they can't get a Walker Kessler, I think that they'll still push for Kessler. But if they can't get Kessler, I could see them going and getting Nikola Vucevic. Because Day'Ron Sharpe, a Jonas Valanciunas, right? Guys like that, you're not starting, right? Now, maybe Anthony Davis would be okay with it and say, hey, you know what? As long as I get to play, 20 minutes a night at the power forward position, I don't mind starting at the center spot. And then we kind of figure it out throughout the game, sure. Then maybe they do something like that. But it sounds, based on what we got from that interview, that he wants to start at the power forward. He wants to primarily be a 4. Again, you're not doing that for a Day'Ron Sharpe. It's just not, it doesn't make sense. Like the payoff isn't going to be enough to justify potentially wearing down LeBron and LeBron coasting and stuff like that. Nikola Vucevic is probably, outside of Kessler, of course, probably the only guy that makes sense because you're talking about a legit 20 and 10 guy. I know there's concerns about the defense, but Anthony Davis would be in the scout role. His offensive production, his ability to stretch the floor, his ability to rebound, I think is arguably impactful enough to justify LeBron playing the 3, right? I'd still probably go with Dorian Finney-Smith. I'd probably just go big and go Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Nikola Vucevic with Austin Reeves at the point because I think you still need that point of attack defense. I would still personally go after Bruce Brown, right? Go trade for a Nikola Vucevic and then go pull off a move and go get Bruce Brown. And then now you have Bruce Brown, Austin Reeves, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Nikola Vucevic. I think you kind of solved both your needs, but you got higher end guys, right? They're not like top tier guys, but they're like the next level. Like what I've talked about and maintained, right? Lakers either need that top end guy, a Brandon Ingram and a Zach LaVine, and then like a mid-tier guy or like 2 low-tier guys, right? Or they need 2 mid-tier guys or a mid-tier guy and like 3 kind of low-tier guys, right? Well, Bruce Brown and then Nikola Vucevic would give you that mid-tier guys. You'd be able to clear off a Ross spot, bring in like a Markelle Fultz, something like that. Now, essentially, you got Markelle Fultz, Dorian Finney-Smith, with a Nikola Vucevic and a Bruce Brown. You're in great shape at that point, right? Now you've added 4 key pieces that can come in, just give you different looks, give you different athleticisms, right? obviously gives you a center presence that can score. He's not athletic, but he's a guy that can basically do everything. I've talked about how I really like the calm presence that he would provide the Lakers, right? A guy that, like, we see the Lakers get stagnant offensively. It'd be nice to have a guy you could just dump the ball down to. He can go to work. He can go make plays. He can find the cutter, kick out man, all of that. It's just, again, who else would you trade for that would justify him starting alongside AD, right? Like, to enough to where you'd move LeBron to the 3 full time, or a good majority of the time. You could still play him at the 4, but good majority of the time, right? I mean, you could argue maybe a Clint Capela, right? But I'd rather the offensive upside. Like Clint Capela, like if this was Houston Clint Capela, then yes, go get Clint Capela, right? Because defensively, he was great, right? He's not bad defense. He's better than Nikola Vucevic without a doubt. But he's not as great defensively as Nikola Vucevic is offensively, if that makes sense, right? Like Clint Capela is not the version he used to be. He's still good. He's still serviceable. I would hate him in the starting unit at some point, but I don't think he justifies and makes sense potentially wearing down LeBron, where I think Nikola Vucevic does, because again, yes, you're kind of giving up some defense, but you're getting more size in the interior, getting better rebound on the interior, and you're just getting more overall scoring. You're getting a guy that can be kind of the hub for you on many nights. A guy that could be kind of that offensive focal point. You can even run your offense through him at times. Obviously, he's not like Jokic, but he's a guy that can make plays out of the post. He's a guy that, can pass out of the double team. And if he's on an island against the defender, he can go get you a bucket. So I really do kind of lean towards, do the Lakers now, because this is kind of out there and Anthony Davis has kind of like been like, hey guys, like I really could use you getting me a center. Does this kind of incentivize the Lakers now and Rob? Because look, Lakers have a history of trying to appease their stars, right? I mean, even LeBron to a fault at times, right? Like they want to keep their stars happy. Anthony Davis is supposed to be the future, right? Like, yes, I still think you need to keep LeBron in mind, but if your star for now and the future is like, I want a center, right? Like if LeBron was like, go get me a center, guess what would happen? Lakers would go get a center. Like if LeBron went to Rob Pelinka and Genie were like, hey, go get Nikola Vucevic, guess what the Lakers would do? Go get Nikola Vucevic. But it seems like if Anthony Davis asks for something like that, they're kind of like, we would love to, but, the way my bank account is set up, I got to check in the savings for those that get the reference. But no, in all seriousness, right? It's like, it just seems like they're not as high on appeasing Anthony Davis, which again is because of LeBron. It goes back to LeBron. LeBron is best at the 4 at this stage of his career. Whether we like it or not, that's the reality. He is best at the 4 at this stage of his career. So, question I think still remains is that you need to find somebody that you can justify and make the argument for starting alongside Anthony Davis to move Anthony Davis to the 4. And then I still think you need to get that point of attack piece that can slot in and be that defensive piece alongside Reeves. Because Austin Reeves, LeBron James, and Nikola Vucevic, offensively, you'd be great. Defensively, I have my concerns. Now, I do think Anthony Davis getting to kind of patrol unlocks him a little more defensively, right? You've seen JJ Redick try to do that more, right? You've even seen Anthony Davis, and I've talked about this before, Anthony Davis as the strong side defender rather than the weak side. In that Celtics game, he was on the strong side pretty heavily, right? So do you do something where on offense, LeBron is slotted at the 3, but defense, LeBron is playing the 4, AD moves to the strong side to where he can kind of patrol on the strong side action and then bring in, like I said, a Bruce Brown or have Dorian Finney-Smith be your starter. And now you have kind of AD and Dorian Finney-Smith on the strong side, and then LeBron James and Nikola Vucevic can kind of, double team at the rim, so to speak, right? Like, do you maybe do something like that? But it kind of takes away from Anthony Davis as the weak side help, right? It takes away Anthony Davis as like the blind side help, right? Like the help defender. So I think it's something that I think you could explore and take a look at. I just think Nikola Vucevic is the best center for what you would want to start alongside Anthony Davis, right? To justify LeBron. Like even Walker Kessler, like I like the idea of Walker Kessler a ton. He really helps with the interior defense. But offensively, like he is elite enough defensively to kind of counteract. So again, I wouldn't hate the idea, but you need to preserve LeBron because no matter who you get and how you end up getting it, if you don't have a healthy LeBron, you're not going anywhere, right? The only reason I would argue starting Nikola Vucevic and not like a Walker Kessler is because Nikola Vucevic would take the offensive pressure off of LeBron. So LeBron, because with Kessler, LeBron would still have to be in attack mode. LeBron would still, he not only would he have to be responsible to lock down defensively, but he would have to also be aggressive offensively. Where I think in Nikola Vucevic, he doesn't have to be as aggressive offensively because you have another 20 and 10 guy. He's still going to go get his 20, but he can do it kind of within the flow rather than like, hey, I gotta like keep us within range, right? So anyway, as always, this is a discussion and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with my points? Disagree with my points? Kind of mixed in the middle? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I love to hear it either way. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So if you enjoy these types of videos, I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.